Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Yeah, so Sid, the stream should be up now. So if you
Let
go
me
to
try.
the
Yeah, I see it's working. Quality looks pretty good.
nice, hopefully it holds up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on the stream right now, so do you guys hear like the echo, or do you not hear anything?
No, I'll mute it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Alright, okay.
Once someone pops into the stream chat or elsewhere, we're gonna gauge some audio levels, and if they're all fine, like none of us are any more loud than the other, we should be good to go with our sort of pre-game show of just talking about the Toronto season and what we expect of the finals. But I guess first we're just gonna have to wait for someone to pop in.
Yeah, I just tagged the Toronto server, so I'm sure a few people will join from there.
Yeah, I have like 27 Discord servers, so I should just go advertise this. Well, it's my personal channel. Kinda don't need anyone watching this for my channel, just for the content that's on. But yeah, you know. It says I've had 686 viewers in my history of live streaming on Twitch, which is actually a lot more than I thought. And someone followed me earlier today on Twitch who has had a Twitch account since 2008 and was a viewer for my NCAA Hoop Summit streams in the summer of 2019, which is quite nice. Don't know exactly who that is, but good that they're sticking by my shitty streams and the SBA as a whole. So now that we have some people, like, don't know if we could call them people, just some Neanderthals from don't know if they're at the Tori yet or not. Anyways, we should do this sorta. I'm gonna introduce myself, and then you two can introduce yourselves, and then MG is gonna tell us if the volume levels are alright. So I'm Star, the SBA simmer, so I'm gonna be in charge of running the operation on the stream and bringing you all the action. And with me is Playoff Lonzo. Is that your forum name or is it something else?
Playoff Lonzo. Most people know me as Oscar, but Playoff Lonzo is what the forum name is. Former GM and former simmer.
And we also have on his phone the Toronto general manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Sid, the current GM for Toronto. We kind of defied all odds to make the championship, so I'm just looking forward to see what happens today. But yeah, it's my first season for GM.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna crowdsource some audio engineering for a little bit, and then we can kick off with the what we expect from the games today. Alright, so everyone is alright, but my voice is a little bit lower, so just 1 minute and I'm gonna pump it up a little. 15%. That should be alright. Yeah, looks like the not the waveform, but the decibel bar is pumping now. So yeah, um, yeah, I guess we can start off with Sid since he is actually taking part and as a GM. So going into the season, you some people consider that you've actually like made a massive transformation, and well, the results on the court show that it's the Toronto team of this season is one of the best there is out there. So what do you think of the job you had to do the previous offseason and recognizing the talent and bringing in the players you brought in? And did you expect that you would be here at the finals kinda already?
All right, yeah. So pretty much, I don't know if many people know this, but I was the assistant in Toronto for about 2 seasons. I had no plans that I was going to become a GM, but then Jays ended up contacting me asking if I was interested, and it happened right after I became GM. It was kind of I didn't really know. Really, I was happy to just roll with the current roster, try to mess with the picks, get my GM player. But then I started talking with Town, and then he mentioned that he was looking to trade his GM player. He wanted to play for me, and we kind of talked about like trading our GM players to try and see what would happen. We went through many iterations of the trade, and we kind of ended up with that final trade where we got Maddie and Town, and then after that, it was kind of I knew that we'd try to get for contention, so I went trade my next 2 first rounders, which was risky just in case it like all fell apart. But I thought we might as well take advantage of what we had, and we got left flopped as well. And then for free agency, I wasn't expecting anyone, but then DB kind of showed up, young option, so it wasn't like an cap hit, which we wouldn't have been able to fit, but he kind of fit in perfectly, and I had to talk with him for a while, but I'm super happy, and I'm still surprised to this day that we ended up landing him. Sims kind of showed that we were going to be like first, second place, but also I know that test sims are never reliable, so I didn't really know what to expect to the season. So I kind of just went with whatever my strat said and hope for the best. That's about it.
Don't put all your trust in the testing you might be able to do before the season actually starts. But what do you think about our 2 finals teams, Oscar?
Oof, I mean, Miami, I expected to be here. Toronto, they surprised me a little bit. I actually didn't have them making the top four at all. I had them just missing out of the top four. But they had like I think one run at the end where they won like 8 consecutive games to steal the first seed of Miami. And I do think that they are built well. They're 6 deep. Miami's only what? I think Miami's just a straight 5 year. It should be a good finals. I've got Toronto winning just because they've got the 6th, and I reckon Toronto should get this in maybe 5-ish, 5 or 6. I don't think this will go to a 7.
Yeah, I think a lot of people prefer and anticipate the added insurance of a starting caliber 6th man always performing better than just a pure 5 starting lineup with no like let's say a filler 6 man. Like a lot of people anticipate that it's basically always better, and there's not too much evidence to show the contrary, but it's really difficult to compare like the New York Rail team of some seasons back. They only had 5 when they won the championship, and that 5 was obviously extremely strong. But then some teams, when they have their 5, it's probably not as star-studded, and maybe they are aiming well above their means and just rue their bad luck, or then just go and prefer the 6-man. But it's quite rare nowadays for a competing team not to have a 6-man, so it'll be interesting to see what, if at all, it makes a difference with fouls or such here. But yeah, gonna post the starting lineups that I snagged already into the thread, and with that we should be on our way to revealing those. Just need to pick up which day we're on in the game. What would it be? What would it be? What would it be? How is this so difficult? So they end here, so it should be here. No?
I
Current
think you
day.
have to click day.
Yeah, but I just don't want to click anything that might mess it up, because I haven't done this part quite often. So yeah, we're here. Yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna do some little magic here. You guys are gonna see a blank screen for a minute, and just gonna check that where it was the correct date I was on. I'm just gonna check that all the necessary
If you go to
strategy
the
changes.
playoff thing, I think
Yes?
if you do sim day twice, it should work only with simming one game at a time.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I just wanted to be extra cautious, just not to
Okay.
like mess anything up. But yeah, here we are. We're on the 26th, going on 27th. So yeah, here it is. Toronto versus Vice. It's 2 games at home, or 2 games in Toronto, then 3 games in Miami, and then the last 2 games, if necessary, back in Toronto.
Okay.
So
3-2-3.
no, that's 3-2-3 is like 8 games. 2-3-2. But yes, the correct sequencing there, yeah. So obviously, as with any finals, Miami winning one of the first 2 games is usually a great stepping stone for a serious victory, but it's difficult to win games away in the playoffs. Let's just take a quick look at the Toronto versus Miami games in the regular season. So at home.
Pretty sure before, I think Toronto went 3-1, I think.
Yes. So here we have the first game of the season in Toronto. Toronto wins by 20. Second game in Miami. Miami wins by 40. Damn near 40 at least. Then the second game in Miami, Toronto wins by a narrow margin of 8. So 2-1 to Toronto, and then the final game was close to the end of the regular season in Toronto again. So yeah, 3-1 for Toronto in the season series so far, but only 1 game in Miami. Oh yeah, wait, I said 2 and 2, and one of them Toronto won. Yeah, so guess we're just gonna hop into it here with this button right here, and I'm not quite sure which of 6 or 7 is the best speed here for starting the first half, kind of the proceedings, but to kick us off, we're just gonna go with slow, and everyone viewing is gonna be able to see it and tell me if it's clear or large enough on their screen, or if we gonna have to do some work on it. So here we go with the season 56 finals. Marcus wins the jump ball and Miami has possession. So anyone watching, is this clear enough? The text? Or
Yeah, it
is
looks clear.
alright?
Yeah,
And
I can
you're
see
on
it.
your
I-
phone as well, right?
I think there's just a slight delay. So right now the jump ball just happened. So,
Yeah.
but
Alright, so here we got to the first stop, and it's good. Yes.
yeah, it
And
looks
you
good.
said yes.
So
Alright.
yes,
So
you
we're
can
gonna
probably
kick it
speed
up
it
a
up now.
notch. Excuse me?
You can probably speed it up now.
Yeah. I was just gonna see if everyone was on it. Yeah, so with this speed it should go by quite alright, I think. And then on the right, if you've never seen this screen before, if you've never played the game or played the game like this, on this side obviously you have the active lineups on the floor, and at the bottom you have the team stats. And then at any point I think you can go and see the box score if the simulation part is stopped. But yeah, if I wanted to, you can stop here. What we're gonna be most focused on is the personal fouls tally. As we see, Diddy Congo has taken to the court, but he is obviously a more talented player than a general filler, so it just could be Arcidas doing some rotation magic, so to speak. Already 14 fouls for Toronto, and Alpha Cliff Ayid has checked in compared to the one foul of Miami's. But the Toronto Thunderbirds do have an 8-point lead with 6.5 minutes gone by in the first. At the quarter break, I'm gonna check the box score each time at the quarter break, and then at the end of the games I'm gonna have to do some manual posting to the sim thread for the people who are unable to view the stream live and don't want to otherwise miss on the action. Yes, here we have should keep at 6 and sim to each quarter. In the fourth quarter, if close, go to 3 and sim to stop. That's exactly what we plan to do. So we don't like, even though we have some interesting ECW plus fillers lineups here for Miami. Well, they're actually getting some offense, but not quite the fast-paced one. Oh, well, there we have a something to cap off the first quarter for Toronto. Yeah, a lot of team fouls in the first quarter.
Looks like Toronto's got a filler with 13 points in the first.
Oh, yeah. 3 of 4 for Alpha Cliff Ayid from 3-point land, and 5 of 6 in field goals. 1 block, 1 steal, excuse me. So yeah, leading scorer for Toronto off the bench.
At this point, I just keep him on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if your Virgin Tall can keep his sweater on for the rest of the game, in my opinion here.
Super high score game so far though.
Yes.
Yeah, both teams are historically a good defensive team, so
Yeah, but with
games
the
open up early.
added fouls factor, the games usually open up early, and once they get the starters against starters again, then it's sometimes peters off from the total scoring standpoint. But yeah, Marcus with 12 in the first, and then Maddie with 10, and Cliff Ayid with 13, although -1 in the plus-minus column. So, alright, we're just gonna move on to the second quarter and see if Miami can tie this game with the 9 fouls Toronto accrued in the first quarter. And there's even more points for Off a Cliff hitting another 3-pointer now at 16 points for the game. Miami are getting a little bit closer on the scoreboard, with now 4 points separating the two teams in the middle of the second quarter. A lot of turnovers, 3 in a row here, and Toronto breaks through for 2 points. Miami are with their starting lineup to close the second half, I presume, and Didi Congo is taking the Dex Matty's position for Toronto at point guard, so still quite evenly matched in terms of talent, I would say. That's the added luxury of a sixth man after all. So Miami have taken the lead here, and now it's gonna be a little bit of back and forth, it seems. But going into halftime, Miami could be in a decent position compared to the 8 or 9 points deficits that they were in the first quarter. So here we have it. Toronto up on top, 70-69 going into halftime. Gonna open up the box score window here and post the halftime update to the forums. What did you think of it so far, Sid? Obviously you wouldn't have expected Dex Matty to play only 7 minutes here yet and Off a Cliff go off for 20 in the first half, but your general feelings on the action so far?
So far, I mean, I think I can be happy with it, keeping it within 1 point. Obviously would like a lead more like we had in the end of the first quarter, but I think for now, at least we go out at halftime with the 1 point lead, and hopefully Off the Cliff IE continues his kind of run of dominance and gets his playoff MVP award at the end.
And what about what did you think, Oscar?
Yeah, Miami only shooting 48% and still managing 69 points. Pretty impressive. And poor shooting. High turnover game. And you can see Miami is definitely getting to the line more. What, they're +9 in the first half in free throws. So definitely looking at the scoreboard, even though Miami is losing, I reckon if they get their shooting up, I reckon they'll be able to pick it up. Because, yeah, even though they're down by a point, the stats look like they're playing better. They're forcing more turnovers. And again, to the line more, shooting better from 3. Just they fix up their field shooting, they should be able to pick it up.
Yes, here we see Edward Craven Walker with 6 steals already in the first half and the Vakarian with 3. Definitely, like you said, forcing a lot of turnovers. In the foul game, it's 9-12, but as for the starters, with Matty at 3 personal fouls, a bunch of Miami players are also at 2, so it's not like a large disadvantage other than the coaching AI for Dex Matty. Since if Austin, Wright, Vakarian, and Marcus, 1 or 2 of the 3 pick up 1 or 2 maybe quick fouls in the second half, it might turn around, and they're gonna need their own Off a Cliff IE for the second quarter March or second half March. So with that, we're gonna get back into the game and see how the third quarter unfolds. This is typically the make or break quarter in the SBA playoffs, at least if you view it from the lens of a typical SBA sim, since there's a lot of leads getting blown and a lot of leads getting blown wide open with the check in through from the second or the halftime to the fourth quarter. But at least for now, these two teams are keeping it quite close, it seems. Dex Maddie still not on the floor for Toronto, but they still do have a 5-point lead. There's I think the highest scoring players in the game are Alex Taylor just hit 20 points. It was still going to be off a cliff, I ate midway through the third quarter, which would have been quite excellent if I may say so. Toronto lead is now, well, it's still 5 now, but it was 7 for a brief 2-3 possessions there. And they're looking quite comfortable, even though the Miami team was able to run mostly their starters throughout the game so far. Lead is cut down to 3 points now. Which extends once again, and Miami turns it over, and now they could not hit the 3-pointer there. And it's at the end of the third quarter, we're still looking at quite a close game. It seems like, yes. So with Magniathus Galaturinas, almost makes it, my shitty pronunciation makes it seem like a real name, but it's obviously not a real name. Yeah, it's still a quite close game with 5 points separating the two sides. Toronto Thunderbirds, Miami Vice. Alright, so let's take a quick look at the box score. Raven Walker's steal tally is now up to 8 with 9 assists also. It could spell for a rare quadruple double in the finals. Don't remember any off the top of my head. Also with the added bonus of 3 of 12 shooting for ECW, then we have our unlikely hero off the bench for Toronto with 20 points. Diddy Kongo doing everything other than scoring baskets himself, and Dex Maddie unfortunately only restricted to 11 minutes, picking up only I think 4 minutes played in the third quarter with 4 fouls now. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting fourth quarter, I think. Are you getting any nervous, Sidus?
Yeah. I was hoping third quarter would be the part where we kind of took over, but it's still too close for my comfort.
Starting the fourth quarter with 2 fillers for Toronto, they didn't last long. Magniatu, whatever his name was, got pulled early, and now Dex Maddie is also on the court for Toronto. Yeah, in the end the fouls seem to be quite tight. If anyone picks up their 5th, it's gonna spell bad news for the end of the game fiesta, if there's gonna be any fouling and free throw stuff. Yeah, the Miami starting lineup, now that they've played over, is it 38 minutes? Their stamina status shows tired instead of okay or good, which is supposedly an added benefit, although I don't know. From my experiences with the game, tired players can put 70 points on you anyway, so.
Yeah, I think everyone has 100 stamina, so it probably doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, since the stamina could be tied to their minutes played. Well, no. If you have a player with 11 stamina and you try to play them for a full quarter, they're just gonna get the worst level of stamina status here. But yeah, tired is not the end of the world, I think. So yeah, with 5 minutes to go, we have 9 points separating the two sides. 5 minutes remaining. We're gonna punch it down to a little slower, and if it like blows open, we're just gonna go back to a little bit quicker. But well, 3 is quite slow actually, so we're gonna move up to 4. So yeah, Toronto now has a 13-point lead. Whoa. Just gonna mute your man for a little bit, since he seems to have walked into some construction or whatever. Yeah, Sid, I'm gonna get you off mute in a little bit, but whatever noises were surrounding you were quite eminent. So with the Miami timeout, they still have their tired 5 out there. Yeah, the coaches don't like using their timeouts quite as strategically as in real life. So once you really see these games in the play-by-play presentation, it really makes you appreciate, well, or disappreciate the coaching AI of the game. So there's been no stops for 2.5 minutes now, and Toronto is up by near 20. Just gonna, yeah, now you're back on, Sid.
Alright, yeah, I would think there was like someone like lawn mowing, so it kind of messed it up. But
Yeah,
so
yeah,
far, it looks like a pretty big lead for us. Happy that we kind of managed to pull away in the fourth.
yeah, it's impressive that there hasn't still. There's been turnovers like I think 5, maybe, and there's still been no stops from since we pressed him to stop. So we're just gonna. I'm just gonna give a little score update to the forum and run this on quite slow for the time being. I know the victor at this point is not going to change, but regardless, just so I have time to type all this stuff up. I think, yeah, now there's only fillers on the court, I think. With the unlikely hero of a Cliff Ayid with 16 or 18 first half points, he finishes with 22 for the game, and Toronto wins game 1 134 to 114. So first I'm just gonna go get the HTML thing, then I'm gonna go get a new screenshot for the left side of the stream, and then I'm gonna go back to the box score so our analysts can discuss. Wonder if I could do the big ol' thing here quickly, just while you wait for a second. Window capture, notepad, in data, notepad. Yes. Oh, sorry. There's a lot of empty space here. Do you think this which do you think is better? The
This one, so we can see everything at once.
Yeah, because even well, I don't want to scroll up and down based on what you guys
Yeah.
are talking about, so we're gonna do this here. That's alright?
Yeah.
Yes, alright. So first off with Sid, you must be pleased with a victory here to at least not be totally out of the water from game one, which sometimes can happen in a playoff series.
Yeah, I think the game one was really important to show that we can win our home games, since the playoff format, from what I understand, is pretty weird for the finals with like the 2-3-2. So if we lost one, then they would have to have 3 in a row home games, or 4 wins. So
Yes.
just showing that we can taking over in the fourth quarter was just a good thing to see, and hopefully we can continue it on for game 2. Hopefully Maddie isn't fouling as much in game 2 as well.
I reckon 20 points. If you look at the actual box scores, 20 points kind of nice for the Thunderbirds. I reckon they probably should have won by more. 45% in a final series is poof, not very good. Plus the 29 turnovers. I think their free throw shooting probably kept this game closer than what it probably should have been, and definitely a lot of adjustments need to be made. You'd assume the AI, particularly shooting, because 45% to 57, probably the difference overall. And yeah, I think, but off a cliff, IE it's not going to score 22 every game. I mean, the Vice don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, although I would like for Alpha Cliff IE to score that many points each game, don't think it's gonna happen either. I wonder where my screenshot went now. Just a second. Should be the right screenshot, but just a matter of finding out where it is. Screenshot. Center. There we go. So, we're on game number 2, on to game number 2 now. Yeah, the box score is now posted on the forums. We're gonna move on to a little bit of secret starting lineups that you all saw there already. But yeah, let me just adjust these things so that there's no bad empty spaces there. That should be alright. So yeah, Toronto takes game 1 and leads the series now with a commanding victory in game 1. I think, yeah, they play games back to back even in a final series because I don't know why. We're just gonna press coach game and jump into game 2. Something that I'm gonna say to the audience here is that I wish I had the patience and capability. Well, I do have the capability, but I had the patience and will to make it possible that the coaches or general managers could change their strategies throughout the series. If not for the entire playoffs, which is obviously crazy, but then for the finals. But then when someone first suggested it, I considered that if it's only for the finals, then it would be unfair to those knocked out earlier if they would consider themselves very adept tactically in the game. But yeah, unfortunately, even this time, I wasn't willing to make that happen since it's already 1:22 a.m. and we need to crack on with this. So crack on we will with game 2 here. Are we predicting another Toronto victory, perhaps?
Yeah, I reckon Toronto will probably take this one at home as well.
And I wouldn't expect anything else from Sid, so I'm just gonna press
Yeah.
sim quarter, and we once again are gonna keep an eye on the foul column here. Player personal fouls. Funny enough, Dex Maddie is the first one to pick up a personal foul. Might or might not be foreshadowing, since from game 1 we know his tendencies. It also said in the box score, I don't know if you guys caught it, that Dex Maddie had picked up a technical foul. Can't say if it was for mouthing off the referee or taunting the bench or punching Austin Wright or what, but he had picked up a technical foul. Quite the cagey affair for the last 2 or 3 minutes of the presentation here. Miami yet to crack double digits in the scoring as compared to the, what was it, 48 to 39, 46 to 39 first quarter of game 1. So very much the opposite here. We have Diddy Congo on the court for Toronto, which once again would point to rotation stuff instead of actually problems with problems with the fouls. All fillers now, so I guess the coaches are giving their starters a wake-up call or a rest or whatever after not doing anything in the first quarter. Toronto might break 30 points, but that's about it, I think. Congo gets the steal, but a filler draws a charge. Galitudinous doesn't score, so 29 to 18 first quarter. And the fillers get a decent crack of playing time with Anthony Wiggle actually playing 8 minutes for Miami. So yeah, the scoring leaders are actually only at 7 points. Brucker and Maddie both at 7 points on 5 and 4 field goal attempts respectively. And for Miami, they have 3 of their starters at 4 points each and 2 of their starters at 0 points each, with Denver Knicks eventually picking up quick fouls and sitting for well above expected time of the first quarter, which is probably why Anthony Wiggle has been playing. So you must be confident now about game 2 in Toronto.
I'm a little more confident. I'm still a little scared of ECW. We kind of saw in the first game with his like steal amounts that he's like pretty dangerous. So even if they don't score, I think if they get a few lucky shots and ECW keeps getting steals, then we have something to worry about. But for now, we're kind of in like a good spot.
Yeah, I would say so, because at this point they do have to score, because as you said, even if they don't score like in volume, they do need to score in volume now, being down by, that's like almost 40% of the margin, 29 to 18. They really need to get a spark here in the second quarter before it gets out of hand. Team foul 6 to Miami, 4 to Toronto, and the timeouts a little bit more conservative this time, but I have a fleeting feeling that they're gonna go down the drain at some point. We won't even notice. Miami still hanging on to their starting 5. Toronto has 2 fillers out there, and Off a Cliff Ayit is still yet to score, but We know about his microwave scoring potential at this point, don't we?
Yeah. Vice probably are double teaming off the cliff I eat right now.
And with that, off a cliff is brought back to the bench with Virgintal checking in with 0 fouls. So it's quite a wonder why he was sitting already in the first place. But I guess it's some of the shuffling around with players. Toronto seem reluctant to give up the lead they built and are actually only adding on to it with an 11-point lead now ballooning to 17 and was 19 just seconds earlier. Yeah, so speaking of that, Miami scoring, they desperately do need some of that now, since they are yet to match their first quarter tally from game 1 and we're closing in on halftime of game 2 here. And Toronto are seemingly smooth sailing with 2 players, the former Ravens at 17 and 16 points, and we will see at the halftime break if it's more of the field goal variety or turnover variety, or which variety this humongous deficit is attributed to. Oh, there's some comeback potential. 2 scores in a row, maybe get a third here to end the quarter. Oh, well, that's basically a score. So 21 point deficit. I'm just gonna open up the box score thing here and update the text audience real quick so you guys can have a look-see here, and halftime. Starting block. Yeah, so shots still not exactly going in. There's already 12 steals on the board for Toronto, which shows in the, if you combine the true shooting attempts of free throws and field goals, Toronto is at 60 and Miami is only at 46. So unless they get tighter with their ball possession, it's just gonna keep going this way. I'm afraid for Miami. But what do you think, Oscar?
Yeah, it's similar story to what you saw in game 1. Poor shooting, but the refs seem to be keeping their whistles away for this one. Only 8 free throws combined in the first half.
Yeah.
Toronto's dominating the stealing game by forcing 7 more turnovers. They've had double the amount of turnovers. It's pretty much one-way traffic. Unless something picks up, this is going to be an easy 2-0 lead for Toronto, and already going to be having some warning signs for Miami.
Yes. We weren't able to pick off all the turnovers, but what could be adding to the count is that if Toronto gets a live ball turnover forced and Miami only forces a dead ball turnover, wherein the ball goes out of bounds instead of being ripped off, that obviously adds to a lot of offensive efficiency if you can get a breakaway 2-on-1, 2-on-0, 1-on-0 breakaway compared to a set defense from an out of bounds play. So yeah, I would favor Toronto in this situation quite heavily, even though the foul count is not like preposterous for either side, but there's not been much scoring by Miami so far. So we'll see what happens in quarter number 3. Miami at least start off with a make here. Although the Thunderbirds are now +1 with a 3-pointer to a 2-pointer. Dex Maddie seems to have put the game 1 nightmare behind him with 25 points so far, and hits yet another 3-pointer here to keep the Thunderbirds.
I think Dex Maddie.
Yeah.
Dex Maddie throughout the playoffs has been kind of like I've been calling a lot of it playoffs MVP, but I think he's like averaging a triple-double through the playoffs with like over 3 steals or something like that. So I think after game 1 he's finally kind of showing himself.
Yeah, and well he should, since that wasn't, well, a lot of it's attributed to the coaching AI, but you know, like 4 minutes of the first half, and I think, what was it, 20 in total, maybe even less, is not a promising sign for anyone. But here we are with Maddie at 27 points scored so far. So the lead is now only 11 points, well, now 9 points. I guess there's some sort of a surge now with Congo and Golitudinous on the court.
I think, like you mentioned in the first game, the third quarter is important. I think Miami's finally taking advantage of that to kind of get back in the game.
Yeah, and as we all know, sometimes the coaching AI is very quick to pull off the starters in the fourth quarter, which I presume leads to a lot more third quarter comebacks rather than early fourth quarter comebacks, since I think maybe at 9 minutes to go they sometimes just pull all the starters and play fillers for 9 minutes. In worst case scenarios, sometimes the whole fourth quarter. We've seen that a couple of times in the finals already. But here we are at the third quarter break. It's an 11-point lead in favor of Toronto, and Adekoya already has a triple-double actually to his name. The Miami starters definitely played a lot better as a group, since they had -18s and -19s on their plus-minus, and are now only, and I say only, -8 and -9s, so they are +10 in the third quarter alone, which could mean if they get up to +10 in the fourth quarter, it's a completely new game and a tight game down the wire. But yeah, indeed, Dex Maddie with 14 of 19 shooting in the game. Adekoya with 7 blocks, 12 assists, 10 rebounds, and 24 points to his name. Toronto is still looking comfortable to me. And yes, before I forget, I need to go post the scoreline update to the text viewers.
I reckon Denver Knicks, he's had this. Last game, I don't think he didn't have the best game. This game's already up to 8 turnovers through 3 quarters. He's 15 points is alright, but you feel he could definitely cut down more turnovers. His assist numbers need to go up. Look, Wright and Walker both have 7 apiece, so you expect him to be passing a bit more, taking better care of the basketball. And I think ECW's, this is his second game in a row he's had a poor shooting night. Shot 3 out of 12 in game 1, 3 out of 9 so far in game 2. So you expect him to pick up his shooting as well if they want to come back in the last.
Yeah, I would, even with the high steal numbers from game 1, it's still quite appalling with Wright's and Walker's turnover. Well, Wright here has more turnovers than made field goals, and I think that might have been the case in game 1 as well. And Craven Walker couldn't have had much more than 5 made field goals in the first game. So yeah, indeed they are the two that stand most to gain or improve here as the series goes on. But yeah, with that we're gonna jump into the fourth quarter and see if Miami can continue with their comeback. Interesting to see again Gali Tudinis and Afakle Fayed to start the quarter, with Didi Congo there as well, so only Tall and Adekoya are the starting lineup on the court. But yeah, Maddie is brought on after only a minute. Now we see some shots fall for Miami. Well, I say shots, but maybe it was only a shot, since that's 4 straight scores for Toronto. So Miami calls a very wet, how would you characterize that, veteran coach timeout just to shake their guys up and whatever. But yeah, I suppose it's needed at this point, since they're now fallen behind 20 points. And more on its way, it seems, with the lead now at 23 points. We're just gonna even more fuel to the fire. So now it's at 121 to 95. I'm just gonna update our text viewers quickly and put this on slow. Alpha Cliff. Yeah, don't think this game is going much anywhere, since they've put on the filler, or sent out, I guess is the correct term. So I'm just gonna right away put this back to slow for a bit and update our text viewers that with a little less than 6 minutes to go. Yeah, alright, let's just breeze through this one, since this is a fun little wrinkle that I found when there was discussion about the 6th man cheese and stuff, is that Didi Congo obviously is the best player on the court right now.
Yep.
So typically the team with the 6th man in this situation is never, even with a full quarter and a lot of shooting luck for the opposing fillers, they're never going to relinquish any lead. I don't think I've ever seen that happen, at least. Once or twice I've seen the starters come in for a moment, but then just, I guess, leave again. So with that, Toronto has another massive victory in game 2. I'm gonna get the HTML right quick again and put you guys back onto the box score screen, or I guess the text thing here. Suppose that was large enough last time? Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, so yeah, 2-0 in the series now, and Dex Maddie making his presence known in game 2. What do you expect of going to Miami then, Sid?
So for me, I kind of see us getting the 2-0 just something we had to do. We had no choice but to take the 2 games at home. And now we're kind of going to be finally like tested to see if we're actually like a legit team in game 3. So I think if we just keep their shooting down and just make sure, keep their turnovers and their shooting down, I think we should be able to take the rest of the games.
Yeah, I think first of all, Miami, I don't think they can drop a game at home. They go down 3-1 hard. So, so I think they probably need. They also need to cut down turnovers. They had what? They had 29 in game one, 32 in game two. That's pretty poor. So definitely drop that. Shooting needs to go up, but they shot, what was that? 46 in game two, game one, 45. Definitely up there. Shooting, you would assume. And what they need a lift from, you'd expect all their starters if they're going to want any chance in this one.
I would also like prefer to see more from. I think unlikely as it was, games 1 and 2 were sort of only two-man games by Toronto, with in game 1 off a cliff Ayid making an unlikely appearance, and here Maddie and Adekoya bossing the game. So when they go to Miami, they might need more from the entire starting lineup plus Congo to stay above average efficiency, make their shots when they're open, and yeah, keep up with these sorts of crazy numbers like here: 16 assists, 5 steals, 8 blocks. That's obviously well and good, but Taylor needs to knuckle down and maybe be more efficient than 4 of 11 if they look to stand a chance in the away games. So yeah, I think Miami has a good shot at winning their home games, but maybe Toronto still has some higher gear to step into. Yeah, let's just take a screenshot here of
Miami's got 3 home games coming up here, assuming we go into game 5.
yes, that's at least the schedule plan. Yes, game number 3. Yes. Alright, so just to be safe, I'm just gonna save here just in case anything goes wrong. I forgot to do that after game 1, but it's alright since we already got here. We're looking at a game on the 30th, so Sim to 29th, still 2-0, yes, and we're headed to Miami. This is gonna tell us a lot of things about the two teams. If Toronto are able to go up 3-0, even maybe in a dominating fashion here, some people might even be calling the series off already, but I think Miami has enough talent to get 2 victories here of their 3 home games, if not all 3 even. So let's crack on with the fourth, well, not the fourth quarter, or the third game. Familiar starting lineups with Marcus winning the third of 3 jump balls so far, I think. Already 1 foul by Miami, but not from 2 fouls, but not from high fouling players. So it should be alright for the time being. Although Denver Knicks picks up another and is taken off again for wiggle. Hopefully Miami can keep their wits about them as Knicks once again sits on the bench. 7 points for Marcus in the early goings, and Toronto still only has 1 score. Actually, it was 2 scores from 4 free throws, I think, since it said Taylor with 1 and 12 with 1. But alas, here we are already with 11-6 game at the halfway point of the first quarter. And yeah, this is very reminiscent of game 2 with the low scoring affair instead of the high 30s and low 40s of the game 1 first quarter. Crimea River and My First Filler also take to the court for Miami, so they could be in trouble here in the late first quarter if they don't make if they don't put their starters back on the court. Although Toronto looks to be unable to find the bottom of the bucket. Toronto works their way up to a lead in the game, and it looks destined to stay that way. There was a timeout. You could see the stamina status is refreshing, and honorary filler time to end the first quarter, which is quite odd. Although, if the teams match another, suppose it's fair play, even though I don't like it. Suppose it's fair play. Yeah, alright. So to take the lead at the end of the first quarter, Craven Walker just picks up the rebound, walks up, and bangs a three-pointer. 35% field goals for Toronto, 44% field goals for Miami. 1 of 6 shooting from deep for Toronto. So let's just take a quick look at the box score. 0 personal fouls for any Thunderbirds at all, whereas Miami has bunched. Denver Knicks lasted for around 1.5 minutes, 90 seconds before picking up 2 straight and sitting for the rest of the quarter, whereas Marcus made it to 5 minutes and Vakarian just about the halfway point with 6 minutes. So although the scoreline is in favor of Miami, this should be encouraging for Toronto, right?
Yeah, I would say being only down 2 in our first away game is still, I'd still consider that a good sign. So still 3 more quarters to try picking it up.
Yeah, this is some of the inner workings we usually don't see if we go by the typical playoff presentation where you see the halftime score. Obviously at some point you're gonna wonder, why are we down 39 points at halftime even though we won the previous game? But yeah, you know, this is just a little bit more in-depth look at the thing. Top scorers for both teams are at 7 points, with Toll at 7 points, although minus 13 in the plus minus column, which is crazy. Suppose he played all the... Yeah, they were down a lot early. And 7 points from Marcus with only 5 minutes played, but yeah. Let's kick on.
I will say that,
yes,
like you said, I just appreciate like the playoff format, like how you've been presenting the finals, because like it's really nice to not have to like see at halftime that some team has a score of lead of 30, and instead just seeing the build up to everything. It's like really fun to see it all happen.
Yeah, I wonder why I haven't done this earlier much at all, or even given it thought. It's probably because I was stuck in the... because it's still fun. Playoff presentations were still fun. A lot. So I was just going to do them like they were, for fun. But now that this is at least presumptively my final presentation, it was a good excuse to do something sort of special, even though, yeah, Miami aren't punching anyone now, and they get their full starting 5 out there, and Marcus now jumps out to 17 points. Miami lead by 10 with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. Wiggle is back on the floor for Knicks. Toronto has their full starting lineup out there, with Toll at 11 points compared to Marcus's game high 21.
Knicks with another foul, so we'll see.
Yep.
Happening there.
Actually, Adam Black with Wiggle in foul trouble by himself off the bench. Adam Black is checked in. Maybe needed to blow some dust off. I can't remember when we last seen him in action, other than garbage time. So looks to be going all right for Miami under his point guard. Game management, regardless, just give the ball to Marcus and he'll make a good decision, right? Yeah, so in the quarter it's still 6 fouls for Miami and 4 fouls for Toronto, but Toronto are still down heavy in the quarter with 16-point deficit right now going into halftime. Brucker pulls a little. Oh well, actually the scoreline didn't update live with the thing. So it would still be 14, 16. Shot blocked by first filler. Half-court heave does not pay dividends, and Toronto are actually down 16 points at halftime. So can take a look at the. Wow, that's a lot of players. Already used a lot of minutes for Miami. But they're still in the lead with 13 of 18 and 6 of 10 shooting by Pekerin. So give us your thoughts while I type all this up for our text viewers.
I think it's tough that we're down 16 points. Obviously not what I was hoping for, and our shooting has not. We need to shoot a lot better from the 3-point with only like 21.4% from there, it looks like. But I think in general I still think we have a chance to get back in the game, especially with them still picking up fouls. So in the fourth quarter, I think we can pick it up.
Big free throw difference. Toronto had 21 free throws in the first half. Miami's starters only combined for 2, and the fact that they've had 4 free throws altogether, and up 16, pretty impressive. Miami had they had like 9 turnovers in the first quarter, and they only had 2 in the second. Toronto on track have 34 turnovers, so turnovers is something they need to chip away at, and if Toronto don't do anything, this game's gonna blow right open. And if they start getting to the line, it'll cut right open to 30+ point win.
And
I think like what it was said in the game 1 and 2, the third quarter is going to be really important if the Vice can pull away completely or Toronto can make a comeback.
yeah, even though we've come to know Adekoya and Taylor as good defenders for the position, it looks like Marcus has got a point to prove in this game. Maybe fueled on by the home fans or being 2-0 down in the series, but if his shooting continues this way, it's gonna be an all-time performance, I feel, through 3 quarters at least, if they even need him to play through the game. But let's jump into the third quarter here. No filler starting for either team this time, which is good. Miami get a 3 to Toronto's 2 and another 3, or was it an and one? Yeah, actually can't read. Well, now once I can read again, I can tell you that Miami has broken the 80-point barrier, and Toronto is looking for answers. Marcus hits another 3-pointer, and the offense is coming quite tough to Toronto away from home, it seems like. The turnovers seem to have kind of evened out a bit, with 18 in the game to Miami's 15, but it's still a 15-point gap between the two sides. Denver Knicks is finally seeing some playtime. Marcus hits another 3-pointer to get his points total now up to 41 midway through the third quarter. So indeed, it doesn't look like our man is to be stopped in this one. Gets free from the trap, shoots a 3-pointer for good measure, but no good. Miami closing in on 100 points late in the third. Toronto at 83 at the moment. Brucker makes it 85-99, and quick 2-for-1 kinda thing with the steal and the turnover, 3-for-1 even. So here we have it, Miami in the hundreds and Toronto trailing by now 8 points. Yeah, Nano in the chat, you shouldn't worry about the timeouts. Like, when have you only see in a playoff presentation a timeout like once every 4 games. It's not like they use it use the opportunities correctly. That's probably why we have a lot of the foul stuff at the end of games as well. So at the end of 3 quarters, it's only an 8-point gap between the two sides. So Toronto, think, was it 17 or 18 turnovers at halftime?
Yeah, they had 17 first half, so
Yeah,
two in the
only 2
whole
here.
third quarter.
To Miami's, is it 7 or even 9? I think they had
Yeah,
9
9.
first and then 2, so 11. Yeah, so 2 to 7 third quarter turnovers, which is quite good for Toronto if they can clean that up, and hope that Marcus starts to miss at some point, which I guess percentually he has started to miss more now, but you know, they're still back within a shout in this game.
I'm still not really liking our 3-point percentage. Only 8 for 21, so
well,
hoping that gets up.
38% as a number isn't actually too bad, is it? Even though the fraction 8 to 21 looks kinda iffy. Let's see.
On the season, Toronto 41% from 3.
Oh yeah.
Number 2 in the league.
Actually,
Less than
38.1
what they normally are.
Yeah, 38.1 would only be 17th best in the league this season, so maybe I was confusing it with NBA numbers instead of.
Yeah.
So let's see, Miami, Toronto, 1-1. Yeah, 38% is not bad, but it's still 17th best in the regular season would be. So we're jumping into the 4th quarter here with Kali Turinus and Cliff Ayit and Congo again starting the quarter. Suspect that at the 1 minute mark we're gonna see Maddie and Taylor back in. If the previous games are any indication, well, obviously you need a break in the game for that, and a jump ball isn't an adequate break in the game for substitution, so there they go. Could have gone back to bite them if they didn't feel comfortable using their last timeout that early. Suppose Miami did, so the coaches aren't too concerned with that. So 6-point game here in the 4th. Starters against starters, and I hope that we can see starters against starters to the end. All the starters in the game in double digits now. With 6 minutes to go, Marcus is 1 away from 50. Trevin Walker hits a bomb for 21, and that puts Miami lead up to 9 momentarily. Just gonna make a quick stop here and pipe it down a little bit. 5 minutes remaining. Alright. Wonder if 4 is better. Yeah, it's a tie game now. Wonder if 4 is better for this. I think 4 is quite alright. Last time we did 4, yeah. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just take a quick look here at the situation. Tie game, 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go. Box score, that's where we're going to go. We were going to go. Fouls look to be quite alright. Nix with 4. Vakarian with 4. Just had his 4 just then, I think. It says 101, 109 there. Oh yeah, because it doesn't, yeah. I see what's going on. Who would you favor here, Oscar?
Cool. I reckon Toronto's starting to get on top. Look, I think this half Toronto's had what 6 turnovers to Miami 17.
Yeah.
So definitely being Toronto. Look at their 3 points now up to 44%. And at the end of the third is only at 38. So their shots definitely starting to fall. So you can see that they're slowly starting to get on top of the game. And Miami need to probably take care of the ball. As I saw before, they've got 14 turnovers between their backcourt of ECW and Knicks. So they just need to calm down on the turnovers, I reckon.
Yeah, more of the Marcus Ball of the first quarter could do nicely, even though he has had 33 field goal attempts now that I say it. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see what happens. So let's just go
Yeah,
there.
Marcus probably needs a bit of help. Probably needs someone else to help him score.
Craven Walker, the second best scorer at 23 points right now. Layup by Matty, no good. Miami makes a 3-pointer again. Knicks with 2 in a row, and Toronto calls a timeout, so 6 points.
Knicks got back-to-back threes.
I'm just gonna update the text-only viewers. Yeah, Knicks is slowly making up for the early fouls, but obviously you'd wish that there were no early fouls to talk about and he just performed like this throughout the game. But alas.
Miami's shooting a ridiculous 54% from 3.
Yeah, Tall gets an and one opportunity here after being fouled by Wright. Let's see if he can make good. Yes, he does. So 132, 135. Easy basket for Miami there. And I suppose another easy basket for Toronto, so it's a 2-point game here. Matty gets a steal. Is it a breakaway? It is not. It's against the set defense and Adekoya loses it. So we'll have a restart over. 2-point game, 2:18 to go. Toronto in a full court press. And eventually in their own defensive end they get a steal. Oof. Can't make it happen, and Vice bubble the rebound, so it's still Toronto's ball.
38 to go.
What were you saying, Oscar?
Nothing.
Yes, alright. Steal to steal to steal. It's now Miami ball with 1 minute on the clock, and they do score, so now it's a tie game with, is it 36 seconds to go? Yeah, steal to steal to steal, turnover to steal to steal to steal, and then a miss to steal. So it's not third Miami turnover in a row, just 2 and 2 and then 1 after that. Alright, so I'm just gonna update our text viewers quickly. Virgin Tall has 2 dunks in the last minute, and the game is tied at 139 apiece. Alright, so what's the difference between continue and simply stop? I think it's just possession, the possession.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see what happens here. Toronto in a full court press. Toronto is called for a foul. quite early indeed. Craven Walker is headed to the line with 2 shots. First is good, second is good. Toronto leads. Well, Miami leads by 2 points. 31 seconds remaining. Taylor goes for a layup and they almost get the offensive rebound, but it's no good. Taylor, 20 plus seconds remaining. Miami 141, Toronto 139. Let's see what happens next. Are they gonna foul? It's still 1 score. Oh yeah, 24 seconds. What was I thinking of? I was thinking of some other shot clock. Yeah, Craven Walker has been excellent in the late game foul free throws this playoff, so suspect the same will continue here. Yeah, alright, so Toronto foul ECW, but he makes both shots to push the lead to 4 points. This is like some old school Sim League stuff, the way I'm recording all this stuff. Alright, so Adekoya misses a 3-pointer to close the game. So Marcus's 53 points is well good enough to bring us to a 2-1 series now. Just gonna get the thing open again quite quick, and then you guys can give your thoughts after. Let's go with here and here and here. Yeah, so Oscar, you were quite on top of the statistics and stuff, so what do you think of the performance of Miami in the game here?
Well, I think they definitely dodged the bullet. They fell apart in the second half, but their first half was good enough. Their low turnover that they ended up with. It says here they had like, I think they had like 11 turnovers in the first half, ended with 31. So over the course of the playoffs, they're averaging like 30 turnovers, which is, if I look at it now, which is plus 10 up to what they normally average in regular season. So that's something that I think they definitely look at for game 4 and 5.
Right.
Overall, Marcus probably needs a bit more help. He's not going to be scoring 53 points every game. But then for Toronto, I think Toronto, they end up shooting 45% from 3, and even though they lost, I think they'll be overall happy with how they play. And I think if they believe that if they can keep on playing like this, I reckon they'll eventually get over the top and win this series.
So you're saying they are still well within chance in the series. What do you think, Sid?
I think that I'm still pretty confident about how it's going because at home I know that we were able to kind of take control of the games, and the fact that we were still be able to keep our first game away close, I actually think we'll be able to, if we get a little lucky in the 4th game, maybe pull off the victory there.
Indeed, Nano in the chat said Toronto missed 8 free throws and lost by 4 points. So here we have Taylor. Well, 7 of 10 is alright, but not excellent. And Maddie 1 of 4 somehow. Maybe he got bruised on a foul and wasn't feeling the shoulder right or whatever, but making all 4 of these and 1 more of these, or 1 more of these 2 here, could have gone a long way of actually securing something out of this game. I'm just gonna run to the toilet quick, and we're gonna move on to game 4 after. Let's just now I guess I'm gonna hold this on the screen for the time being if anyone comes in and so forth. So just a moment.
I mean, while we're waiting for Oko, I think Oko, when we were talking, mentioned that he wanted to see if anyone had questions. So if anyone has like questions they want to ask me or Oscar, you could probably post in the chat. I'm following the chat right now, so I'll be able to like see anything.
Yeah, I'll be able to read them as well. Sid's on his phone at the moment.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, right?
Yeah, I'm not at home either. I'm like kind of just walking around enjoying the sunlight, as people do, I guess. And Taylor is actually good. He's gonna win playoff MVP when he finish off the series.
Excellent. I've had my microphone muted for the stream viewers since the start of the game, but alas. There we go. Oh yeah, I muted my watch the thing because I didn't want the crack of me physically clicking the microphone mute to come into the podcast, but it is what it is. 27-point lead, more than doubling the Thunderbirds score in the first quarter so far. Another full court heave. Not making any hay with that one. So plus 23 for the starters for Miami, and yeah, quite the hefty minuses for Toronto starters, who have been able to play decent minutes. Don't quite know if that's according to the rotation. I don't think Alpha Cliff Hayid is set to play more minutes than Didi Congo, but it's just the restrictions of the positions, I think. Yeah, I think Miami need to keep doing what they're doing, and Toronto needs to pick up some slack and get some actual offense going. What do you think is the main hang-up here, Oscar, for Toronto?
Miami shooting 74% from the field. You doubt that's sustainable, but that's probably a big part of how they dropped nearly a 50 piece
Yeah,
in the first. That's 74%. And considering they only took two threes as well to get to nearly 50, pretty good. Also, the 8 steals as well. They've had half the turnovers as Toronto have, so definitely a lot to like, and Toronto need to start catching up sooner rather than later if they want to have any chance of getting back into this.
yeah, it's actually in the end telling that Adekoya has shouldn't say only, but only minus 12 compared to his starting lineup mates of Brucker and Matty, who played the entire quarter and obviously therefore have minus 24. Once he went off, the scoring for Miami kept steady still, and guys like Congo, Golitudinus, even Taylor played some center there, weren't able to stop the onslaught so far, but we'll see what happens in quarter number 2. At least Alpha Clay Fayed gets a little tip scored there. No 3-pointer hitting for either team. Long rebound, twice blocked it seems like, and Miami score and are still doubling the Thunderbirds in the score column. Yeah, if the Thunderbirds can't get out of the, say, 30s, or maybe even 40s at this point in the first half, it's looking quite promising for Miami in game number 4. But they look to have brought on some of their actual players instead of Alpha Cliff and Golitudinus, so now is the time for them to get back into the game, I think. Well, no better time than the present, of course. Steal to steal to steal to made to steal to traveling to make to timeout. Quite the SBA sequence there. Miami getting a breakaway steal to push it momentarily to 17 points, but now it's a little bit made up there. Knicks can't get the layup to go, so now it's 13 now to 15 points the gap. Sure seems like Toronto is looking more to Virgin Hall instead of their guards or Adekoya in the games in Miami, which I suppose could bring them results, but I think Wright is a 7-footer. Is he a SF freak, small forward freak? So he'd be a 7-footer, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so he'd be a good defender for the position when Tall is playing small forward, which he is most of the time. We go into halftime with a 15-point gap, and I'm just gonna open the box score thing and update the sim thread quickly. Looks like Toronto hasn't had any made free throws. We'll see if they have actually had any free throws attempted and it's no, they don't. Yeah, still no free throws for Toronto. What do you guys think?
I mean, the refs are maybe a bit on Miami's side for this one so far. Not a single free throw in the first half, but I think both teams are shooting pretty poor from downtown. Miami, Toronto's what 28%. I think Miami's looks fairly similar. Yeah, 28 as well. And Toronto kind of slowed down their turnovers a bit, but still 17 and a half. Quite a lot.
Yeah, the Miami front court with still rolling along with a combined 37 points and 9 of 12 to 8 of 13 shooting. What do you think is gonna be the key, Sid, for the team? It looks like the Taylor hasn't been getting the minutes he was supposed to with the 3 fouls in the first half.
Have been able to really make it their own at home, but I think we had a similar deficit in the game 3. So I think if we just keep the same happening, hopefully the fouls get out a little late, and hopefully this time we can finish it off at the end.
Yeah, so just what's an apt way of saying it? Trust the process. Keep doing what you're meant to do, and the results hopefully will reflect the work. So yeah, with that we're gonna jump into the third quarter, and we'll see if the Miami front court keeps on piling on the points with Vakarian in the game high 20. On Toronto side, Virgin Tall with 17 points in the first half. There's a bunch of fouls now accruing to the Toronto side with all of their starters at 2 or more. Alex Taylor there picking up his 4th and being promptly subbed off for Galatudinus, which can be good news for offense, at least. Suppose it's kind of mid for defense, but yeah, for offense he's not gonna match any SBA starter really. 15 points, 18 points now. Well, actually it's gone back and forth quite a bit there. Halfway point of the third, we have a 12-point lead for Miami. Not quite breaking the 100-point barrier yet, but hanging on there quite well and not giving Toronto much room to operate. Galatudin is actually still on the floor. 3 fouls for all the starters except Adekoya, and Vakarian rolling along with 28 points late in the third quarter. Looks like with the back and forth with the substitution, it's been difficult for Toronto to get in a rhythm, and it's only been little flashes of excellence instead of the consistent performances here. And we end the third quarter with is it gonna be 14? Yes, a 14-point gap between the two sides. Miami are stuck in rotation roulette with the fouls. Well, Toronto are stuck. Toronto.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that Taylor doesn't hurt by having 4 fouls, because that looks really big with the 4 players with 3 and then one with 4. So they are waiting for them to foul out. The strategy for late might be backfiring on us.
Yeah, it's with the 2 minute mark of starting a fouling game, it's added difficulty if you get into a lot of fouls as a team early, because then even 1 or 2 fouls in late game situations is just gonna kick out a starter, and even if you somehow make it to overtime, you're just gonna get ran over if one of your starters or more are fouled out at that point. We'll see what happens though, judging by the chat. Miami shouldn't lose this one, and Toronto only still have 2 free throws in the game, both made, but it's still slim pickings compared to the 19 that mainly Vakarian and Wright have been able to pick up for them, and obviously that's why they call them free throws, because it's much easier to score than your run-of-the-mill field goal. Once again, the fourth quarter starting with 2 starters for Miami, for Toronto, which is interesting. Wonder if the game was tied, like literally tied 99 to 99, to say, would this rotation still start 3 fillers or 3 bench players at the start of fourth? Interesting to wonder. Maybe we can get to see that in a later game in the series, but for now Miami are leading by 15 points with 8 minutes to go. Just about 7 minutes ago, it's now a 13-point lead with Vakarian at the free throw line, pushing it to 15 points. We see the Miami starter stamina status being tired, but not performing any worse. Just on the eye level, still holding Toronto at bay quite alright. Just gonna do a quick check in with the text crew here. Vakarian goes up for a dunk. 4 minutes to go. Game 4.
It looks like the Vice probably are going to be taking game 4.
Yeah. I'm just going to update our text audience and future audience. Yeah, there's still starters out for both teams. I wonder if that's gonna change quite soon, or if this is actually one of those where the coaches stay competitive. There was a stop there where you could have made substitutions at the 3:45 mark, but they didn't. Now there's a foul, so let's see. Yep, everyone's checked out, and I'm just gonna update that to the starters. Check out at Miami 132, Toronto 156, 113 remaining in the game. Alright, so let's go to the end of the game, I guess. See if anyone gets a little scoring burst. No, actually no one basically scores, so nothing.
I think we got a lot of, I guess, people disappointed that the playoffs this season have been kind of disappointing. So I think the fact that it's 2-2 is pretty. I hope at least the people that are watching are happy that it's a close game. But I am really hoping that this 2-2 doesn't become 2-3.
Yeah, I think there's only been 1 or 2 series that have won to 6 games, 1, 2, 3 series. Other than that, it's been quite straightforward for the winning side each time out. So this is well, based on what we've seen so far, it's got a good chance to go to 7 games. I'm just gonna open the box score again here and gonna update the sim thread with the box score as well. So much more of the same as last Miami home game. Do you guys think?
Yeah, yeah, much of the same. You'd assume Game 5 in these type of formats is probably the most important, because if Miami win Game 5, then Toronto have to win. Yeah, Toronto have to win. All Toronto have to do is just protect home court, and they're the champions. But if they win Game 5, then Miami need to steal both games in Toronto, which is very tough. So that's why Game 5 probably the most important game in the series so far.
Do you think Toronto has a chance to win games away, or do you think you're more trusting the?
They need to cut down on their turnovers. 27 turnovers is a lot. They need to. I reckon they kept on shooting threes even though they kept on missing. So they kept on just trusting their outside shooting, but clearly wasn't working. And with them keep on shooting outside, they weren't getting to the line much. As the team said, they had opposite strategies. And my Toronto's strategy was just shoot from beyond the arc. Vice's strategy was just to attack the basket, which they did by putting Taylor into foul trouble. He only picked up 18 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see what occurs in Game 5.
Do you think you still have based on these 2 games, do you still think you have a chance to pick up a game in Miami, or are you more so leaning on the home court part?
I think we still have a chance. It's 2-2. We know that it's close now, so we're gonna hopefully pick it up now. But I think we can still have a pretty good chance of winning.
Yeah, so you could see this ending in 6 games still.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there's a. Don't know if you can consider this an outlier, since he only finished with 4 fouls, but all the 4 fouls were in the first half. So it's just a bit of the coaching AI and trying to preserve your man. But I guess preserving your man doesn't do quite as much if you then have to rotate in guys like these 2 at times. But it is what it is, and we'll see what happens in Game 6 here. Game 5. Can I count? Yes. 2 and 2, so 5.
Yep, let's go.
Game. Oh, it's 3 in a row. Interesting scheduling. But that's how it's been always, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
6 to. Alexander Marcus is now 5 of 5 on the jump ball. That hasn't had any correlation with the results on the court, I don't think, so he can win jump balls, sure. I think he's like a solid half a foot taller than Adekoya too, so that kind of helps. And with very high jumping as well. Yeah, ECW in game 4 there with 5 steals and 6 blocks from the shooting guard position. It's quite inspiring to see. Don't think I ever had a play of 5x5, and I had 2 players that were defensive specialists, so good on you. Alright, so looks to be a much more closely contested game here so far. Wiggle.
You need to turn on the thing. It's a blank screen still.
Goddamn. I'm staring at it currently, you know. And I didn't think there was anything off because I just turned off the notepad portion. But yeah, it's like I said, still a closely contested game with just then when I understood my mistake, Anthony Wiggle, or is it Anthony? I think it's Anthony. Yeah, Anthony Wiggle checking in for Denver Knicks, which is a familiar sight in the first quarter. But this looks to be quite promising for Toronto, since they've been much better in second halves of games somehow, or at least non-first quarters of games here in Miami. So 5 fillers out for Miami to end the first quarter. Quickly realizing their mistake, they put back in Craven Walker, but well, Toronto can't seem to capitalize quite as efficiently as they would have liked to, and in the first quarter chasing Miami by 10 points. Let's just do a quick look at this thing. Yeah, Matty playing 4 minutes, quite accurately just replaced by Congo in the rotation, with the other players checking in and out, and Miami starters playing 10 minutes other than Knicks just then, as I said, picking up 2 fouls again, and then Wiggle picking up 2 fouls of their own, so Adam Black actually had to play there. I don't think there's any nominal difference between Wiggle and Black, it's just who's first in the death shot. Austin Wright with 14 points, game's leading scorer. Adekoya and Taylor with 10 points each, but Taylor with 13 attempts already from the field. And we'll check back into the second quarter. Again, a bunch of fillers out there for Toronto, whereas Miami starts with their actual starting 5. It's interesting though that the game doesn't actually recognize the advantage matchup, where if the Toronto team has fillers out, they still had their 2 possessions in a row, Marcus shooting a 3-pointer instead of actually working down to the block, which is obviously quite disappointing, but you know, what can you do about it? It's just is that way. With that 3-pointer, Austin Wright actually has 25 points already, so Miami are flying quite comfortably here in the second quarter as well, with a 16-point lead at the halfway point mark. A lot of back and forth stuff, and Denver Knicks still hoping to get up into the scoring column. Has 8 assists now, but a lot of effort gone into missed layups. There yet again a steal and an assist for Knicks, and Miami leads by 17, not 15. Both teams hitting a lot of 3-pointers in the first half here so far, but it's only showing up in volume on the scoreboard for Miami, whereas Toronto are now falling behind quite heavily with a 23-point gap on the scoreboard. Just gonna take a quick look at the scoreboard here, and you guys can wonder if it would help if yeah, I can do this here in the middle of the game. Do you think this is better, Oscar?
Oh, you're showing that, yeah, just so I can see it all at once.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to be sure, I'll keep the game open, not blank. So when we come back, and yeah, I'm gonna update the sim thread here. We can take a look at Denver Knicks, who actually ended up playing 17 minutes and contributed heavily to the Miami lead with 10 assists. And whatever other observations you guys have, feel free to share with us.
Being pretty lopsided in the first half. Taylor, who had a pretty poor last game, has picked it up, but still not enough as what ECW, no, not ECW, Wright, 27. ECW's also got 18. Nick's, as you said before, 10 assists. So even though Marcus, in his stand, is having a quiet game, the slack's been picked up by his fellow teammates, and that's what's leading up to a 23-point halftime lead.
And Sid, what do you think? Are you encouraged by Taylor's more aggressive approach compared to the more pedestrian stuff in the previous games, or would you hope for from your man Taylor?
I'm hoping he's taking 17 shots, and while he has made 8 of them, probably just move the ball around. And yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't have too high hopes for this game, since we're already down by 23. But
Yeah.
And it is an away game, but we'll see what happens. I'm kind of just looking forward to those home games that are coming up.
Yeah. I think it's more balanced in the fouling department than it has been, but still Thunderbirds with 17 turnovers, and actually both teams getting to the line quite the same amount, not too heavily as in last game Miami ran over. Toronto interior defense, yeah, we're just gonna hop into quarter number 3 with Austin Wright the game high of 27 points, and Taylor leading the way for Toronto at 16 points. Brucker with a sweet little self alley-oop there, and Matty with a dunk could bring some confidence to the Thunderbirds camp here in the third quarter. Congo with a triple. Suppose all this heating up will do nothing if Miami also keeps scoring alongside them, but we'll have to see. There's still plenty of game to go. A little bit more than 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Walker with another 3-pointer to his name. Yeah, Miami already closing in on 100 points, whereas Toronto, their early third quarter showing is standing for naught right now. 23 points separating the two teams at the 5-minute mark in the third. Toronto out of timeouts midway through the third quarter. It looks to be a fast break pro basketball free classic. Miami breaking the 100-point barrier, now up by 24 points, 26 points actually, after that made dunk off an offensive rebound. At least the best, to my knowledge, if you're not coaching the games yourself at all and not interacting with the players as they are computer entities, morale has little to no factor. So we can see it, Miami lose 2 games straight, then they just kick on and win 3 games straight, and now it's after this game it's gonna be up to Toronto to take care of the business part of the series at home. Fillers take to the court in the fourth as Miami are up by more than 30 points. Alright, don't think there's much to analyze here of the play-by-play meet, so just gonna extremely personable stream content. Who's ever done a yeah. First off, I'm just gonna take the screenshots and then we can stare at the maybe slightly demeaning box score, but it is what it is. Save game. Open up here. Yeah, so very uninspiring starters versus starters minutes with Austin Wright and Edward Craven Walker getting points almost everywhere in the game. It seemed like even though I slagged off Denver Knicks early for missing shots, then he stopped taking as many shots and focused on the 17 assists part of his floor leading. Yeah. If you were the, like, let's say the PR person for Toronto Thunderbirds, Oscar, what would be the tweet you put out? Like, you remember all those jokes about the New York Knicks tweets when they had lost 15 games in a row and their PR person had to like back at work on Monday and stuff. What's the inspiring tweet you'd put out if you were a social media manager for Toronto?
Toronto?
Yeah.
One more from being one more away.
Ah, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still gonna say, even though if you win one more, then you're one more away from winning it all.
Yeah.
So just.
And then the Miami Vice social media manager would reply with one more. Period.
Yeah, just one more.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be a boost to them to play at home if we're to trust the performances both teams have had at home. But Sid, are you still trusting the process? Feeling confident about home court?
Yeah, I'm feeling confident about home court. I think if we pick it up and win in Game 6, I would consider us the favorites in Game 7.
Yeah, that would make sense because that would then mean 6 out of the 6 games have been won by the home side, and obviously then the 7th, the smart money would be once again on the home side. Yeah, here we have in this game statistical performances: 8 blocks for Vakarian. Also, where was it? Yeah, 12 of 17 shooting for Craven Walker, which is quite good. Off the top of my head, it would be something like, in percentage, something
it's like 70%.
Yeah, 70.6, something like that.
Yep.
So it's quite good, and funnily enough, for a guy with a reputation as being an off-ball spot-up shooter, only 6 of the 17 were threes. So with all that excitement out the way, we're gonna move into game 6. I'm just gonna change the game number there up top. There we go, game 6. It's gonna be on day number 3, so sim through here. Save just to be sure. Oh yeah, I guess I saved before, whatever. Still the same goal we have in mind. Just gonna take a quick 10 seconds to draw some water out the tap and join back in then. Something went off in the audio mixer, whatever. Off we pop with Yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes when I touch the microphone portion of the headset, it just pops off. I think the wiring's gone a bit bad, so I should buy a new one. And in post-production, when I'm gonna put this up on YouTube, I'm not gonna go edit that out, even though in the past for podcast and stuff I would have. Here we go with Game 6 in Toronto. Oh yeah.
We won the jump ball.
Yeah.
Maybe that means something.
Well, yeah, maybe it means something. Don't know what it means, but it means something. That's 5 of 6 now for Marcus still. So there we see the rotation with Kongo already taking Adekoya's spot on the court. Toronto up by 2 points here in the early goings.
Will Virgin tall with the technical?
Oh yeah. That means if he gets another technical, he'll be out of here. But oh well, Tall had another technical earlier in the series. How fun would it be if there were NBA rule suspensions for technical fouls? Yeah, we just lost game 7.
Game 7.
Yeah. Tall taunted the bench 4 times in 6 games, so he couldn't play in game number 7. Unlucky, we'll try again next year. Miami jump out to a short lead here as Adekoya is back on the court. Finds himself blocked by Marcus, and I think it's Austin Wright off the court for Miami, and Wiggle, Nix, Craven Walker, Vakarian and Marcus are manning the court. 3 fillers now in for Miami. This could be a time, of course, for Toronto to strike. Just to remind you all, if you can't tell, on the left side corner of the screen here, Miami are 1 win away from the SBA Season 56 Championships, but the home team has won all 6 games so far in the series, so the betting odds are definitely on the side of Toronto here. And with a lot of foul trouble, the Miami lead could be a phantom sort of lead. Let's just check in to be certain. Oh, it was 0 for Marcus. Curiously, he was pulled. 2 for Wright early, 1 for Vakarian, Walker, Nix. Then on the Toronto side of things, it's all quite smooth. Maddie and Kongo with 1, Phil and Adekoya with 1. So Adekoya was indeed just a victim of the rotation for around 3 minutes there. Would hope for another memorable Adekoya performance here. He had a massive 5 by 7 or what was it earlier in the series. So he's in line for another good performance to me. And Marcus only 3 shots, with 1 of them made with 5 free throw attempts. Yeah, I think if the rotations are mixed up like they were to end the first quarter, although they are quite often at the end of the first quarter, a little bit wobbly. Miami
the 3-pointer and a charge, so he's kind of still
feeling it.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry type of beat. It used to be Ersan Ilyasova type of beat, but I don't think he plays anywhere anymore.
4-point game.
Yeah,
2-point game now.
the rotations have settled, but the Miami lead is still only 2 points. So it's basically a tie game, yeah. Here we are, formally a tie game at 46. Vakarian with 14, Brocker with 12. Miami field goal percentage actually a whopping 704, so they've gotten a lot of free throws for their money since the lead is only 1 point. 3-on-2 break. Miami still up by only 1. Anthony Wiggle playing in place of Craven Walker this time. And Toronto has their full starting lineup. Still a 1 point game with around 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Steal the miss. No, it wasn't a steal, I just misread it. It's 5 point game now, actually extended to 7 with those 2 free throws, but now brought back within arm's length. And even with Anthony Wiggle out, Miami are showing some impressive offensive upside here in the second quarter. All of a sudden extending the lead to 14 points. It would be a 9-0 run. Well, theoretically an 11-0 run, but don't know if that was all in one sequence. So at halftime we have Miami 85 to Toronto 69 points. We're just gonna take a look at the full box score of the game so far, and we'll go first with Oscar. What do you think?
Oof, I mean, Miami, despite being +7 in the turnover count, still lead by 16, but 77% shooting, only 10 misses, only 1 miss from the line. I mean, their offense is just unbelievable. I mean, yeah, there's not much you can really do about that. I mean, Toronto, if Toronto pick up their shooting, 1 out of 9 from 3, I mean, they need to throw everything at them in this last half if they don't want any chance of coming back.
And Sid, what do you think? Still a fighting chance? Well, 16 points is not unreasonable in SBA terms, but there's been, other than making shots, it's been quite to the plan so far.
Yeah, I think we just have to keep it up. Our fouling is still pretty solid. Like I don't think we'll have to worry about that too much right now. So hopefully that means well. But like you said, 16 points isn't impossible to come back from. So yeah.
All right, let's kick on with the second half. A reminder to anyone watching, if you haven't been here all the way through, on the left you can see Miami are leading the series 3-2, so with a win here they could secure another SBA championship. Yeah, I think let's see.
Vakarian with a technical.
And Brocker with another technical. Oh well, not another, but another. Yeah, you know, technical for himself. So it's getting a little bit hot in the playoff basketball. Yeah, the #1 offensive team. Don't think you could sustain 72% field goal percentage throughout the season. That would be much more than a #1 offense. It would be a #1 offense of all time easily. We have for Toronto yet again a quite mixed lineup with Matty, Tall, Yeet, Taylor and Congo. Down by 15, but still 19 minutes to play in the game. Wright gets to the free throw line, is good. Rohtorilainen actually checking in and making a 3-pointer. If he can just defend his position. miss. Wiggle gets a steal. Marcus can't make both free throws, so with Wiggle's 3-pointer there, it's a 13-point game. Once again, free throws for Miami, splits them, but Rohter is on fire with another 3-pointer to make it 6 points in the game, and Toronto 11 points behind. Fouled on the dunk, doesn't get it, but 2 free throws fall, so
9 points.
at least momentarily, now fully 9 points. Adekoya gets to the line, 1 of 2, so 8 points. Turnover, make. Miami leads by, now it's 12. Yeah, 12. Adekoya gets blocked by Craven Walker. Toronto calls their final timeout of the game. Something quite fast, break pro basketball like there, and Toronto are still not going away by any means, since they actually closed the gap down to 8 points and 125 to 117 at the end of the third quarter. That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points by both sides so far, more so the Miami side. So here we can see the splits by quarter: 37-48, 40, 37-48, 32. So yeah, it's been a very high scoring affair here so far, with 4 players with more than 20 points on the Miami side, and 2 players in the high 20s, and 15, 15 and 14 for the rest of the Thunderbird starters. So what's the expectation from you guys in quarter number 4?
I reckon, I don't know, 70% still seems very unsustainable, but they've sustained it through 3 quarters, so I mean, but for Toronto to only be down by 8 despite them shooting 70%, pretty good. I mean, they're plus 9 in the free throw department. I reckon it'll come down to the wire. I mean, I think overall both teams are playing good. I reckon defense we picked up a bit. I mean, even defense, Vice at 15, Donders at 16. That's still pretty good in through 3 quarters. That's about what teams averaged out a game. I reckon it's been a pretty good game. It should come down to the wire.
And what do you think, Sid?
I see Bakarian and Knicks with 4 fouls each, so, and only on Toronto it's Brucker with 4, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna hope for the best and say I'm not even gonna predict it. I'm just gonna let's see what happens.
Alright, I can respect that. Yeah, it's due for a drop off, this number here. This is more like the SBA norm. So if you were to cap off your season with a offensive performance like this, it would be quite historical, I'd say. So yeah, like you said, let's see what happens. So let's go to sim quarter, and well, probably gonna have to stop at some point. Since this is an elimination game, we're just gonna go 1 tick slower, I guess. Guess we can go stop to stop basically. If I'm here, still 2 fillers out for Toronto, not subbed out there with an illegal screen, maybe subbed out here with the free throws. Indeed they are. So 5 starters against 5 starters, 15-point lead for Miami after that free throw, 16 points, excuse me, with that free throw made. Miami can't get anything, neither can Thunderbirds so far here. Adekoya finds a dunk for himself, and Marcus's effort is blocked by Taylor. Rebound by Vakarian, blocked, or I suppose fouled by Adekoya. To prevent the dunk, makes the 2 free throws for A 14-point lead still. Brucker makes one, and Nix has his effort. Right with the follow-up dunk. .12 game, 7:14 to go. Miami ball. Vakarian puts up a layup for 2. Brucker is fouled by Marcus. Goes to the line for 2. Splits him. Let's take a quick peek at the foul numbers. In completion, Nix with 4, Vakarian with 4, Craven Walker with 3, and on Toronto's side, Brucker with 4, Taylor Adekoya with 3. So it's not extremely nervous time yet on that front. Although on the scoreboard it could turn quite open any moment now. It's not like I can predict the future. I don't know if it's gonna turn wide open. Taylor gets a steal, another steal. Weiss bubbled the rebound, so Thunderbirds will continue with the ball. 6 minutes remaining. Adekoya goes for a layup. Weiss bubbled the rebound, so Thunderbirds get another shot. Brucker misses 3-pointer, whereas Marcus gets his 2-point shot to go. Another steal and another foul on Craven Walker. That would be 5 on Taylor. Wonder if he... Oh, no, actually it's just 4. I was thinking about Vakarian's 4 fouls there. My bad. Taylor gets 1 to go. 12 points still. Adekoya draws a charge, so Toronto gets the ball. Gonna post a quick score update there on the finals thread. 4 minutes remaining. Miami Vice 148. Toronto Thunderbirds 136. I should add starters versus starters down the wire. Let's move on. Thunderbirds ball. Fouled. Craven Walker now has 5 fouls. Adekoya makes both free throws, so it's only a 10-point game now. Marcus gets a dunk. So it's back to 12 points, and Wright is fouled for 2 free throws on the subsequent trip, so chance to make it a 12-point lead and 14-point lead. I can't even count anymore. Yeah, indeed 14. So now it's a long way to climb up for Toronto. 3 minutes remaining, 10 points. Now 8 points. Miami calls a timeout. Let's see, 2:44. Just gonna open this thing up here for a moment. So, what's been the key so far for Miami, Oscar?
That updated? Yes, yes. I mean, yeah, they got up to 14. They went on a quick 6-0 run before Toronto called time. I mean, Miami called time. I mean, I think it's just Toronto just need to get stops really to have any chance coming back in the last 3 minutes. Just need stops, need to hit their shots, but the efficiency is slowly coming down. Now down to 65%. That's still ridiculous. Like, look at 39 free throws. So I think it's gonna be very tough to come back, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Indeed. So 2:44 to go. Miami at a timeout, but they do lead by 8 points. Let's see. One at a time. Craven Walker drives to the hoop, but then shoots a 3-pointer from the left wing. Yeah. I can read. Deep to left wing. Already fouling now. Wonder if it's actually on purpose or an accidental shove of some sorts, but Vakarian will shoot 2 free throws. Makes both, and we'll see what the Thunderbirds can reply with. A free throw line jumper is good by Brucker, and if they're... yeah, alright, so they're playing. Fouling game starts at... Toronto 146 201. They're looking for the 3-pointers, it seems, with all the driving kick, but in the end they only get a 2-pointer from Taylor, which is good, but still not the exemplary way to go. I would say also it's too early to be fouling, but then again they kinda don't do the fouling. They just inadvertently foul on the next possession, so once again Miami will get 2 free throws. 1 of 2 by right. 9-point game. Virgintal shoots a 3-pointer and it's good, so 151. 151, 157. Miami still lead. 112 to go. Alright, let's see what happens next. Alright, so more fouling. Nobody's sent out yet, nope. Denver next with 2 big free throws, both are good. Knicks, it's 2 free throws. Yeah, this is typically not oh, knocked out of bounds by the Thunderbirds, so almost had the offensive rebound there, but no dice so far, so they're probably gonna no. Alright, so Toronto gives up on the fouling game or sorts. Miami get a good look, but Wright misses. Still 159, 151. 29 seconds to go. Yeah, this is live. Fast Break Pro Basketball. Live. That's just... who will they go to? Is it Virgintal with a 3-pointer again? No, this time it's Adekoya with a 3-pointer, and it is good. 12 seconds to go. And now they're gonna, regardless of who the ball goes to, gonna have to spend some very important fouls. Adekoya is open at the top of the key and hits. What's that emoji called? Cold sweat? Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I would be hard pressed to see Toronto win this game, but we're just gonna give it a go, of course. Miami with the ball inbounding to Raven Walk. Wow, no foul. Knicks gets to shoot the final shot of the SBA season, and the Miami Vice are once again SBA champions. A lot of questions to be raised by the coaching AI once more down the wire of a somewhat close game. They happened to make it closer, and then they gave up on making it closer, and Miami get a deserved victory after winning the first away game of the series. Let's just go back do this and take a look at the game box score, and then go and find out who the playoffs MVP was. So we're first gonna go to Sid. What do you think about the performance in the finals in the end?
I think that I think losing those games away were really big for us, and we kind of never were able to kind of rebound from losing those away games. But all in all, I guess in general, I'm still happy with how the season has gone, and I think we still surprised a lot of people this year, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what we can do next season.
Right.
But good job to Miami, and you deserve the championship.
It's maybe considering like if you put aside the regular season performance, I wouldn't have picked this team for a finals appearance necessarily at the start of the season. Who do you think was the most surprising and kind of most improved and under the radar player on your team this season?
This season, I think Taylor was like he's the lowest TP guy on the team. Only he hasn't hit 1,000 yet, but like a lot of people saying that our weakness is really that we didn't have strong big men. He still like played really well, and his defensive game was still like really developed really nicely. So no matter what roster we have to roster for the upcoming season, I think he'll have a big impact with the steps that he took forward this season.
Right, thanks. And what do you think about the run the Miami Vice eventually made to the championship, Oscar?
I think.
Oh well, you can give your piece if you have something to say as well.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, I think I said it before the game, but like the Vice's starting five was just like better than just anyone. No one was close to like the level of their starting five, and it was kind of like their last run at the starting five that MSM had built. So they paid off with them with everyone. They didn't have to worry too much about fouling, and they kind of just without the fouls they were able to kind of pull it.
And Oscar, what do you think about the team and the run?
I think if you look at it, the Vice was actually didn't have that much trouble throughout the entire playoff series. They took down the Rail in 6, who took down the Ironman easily in 5. Then they basically swept the Ravens, which is unheard of. And then they took down, and then besides the first 2 games, it was pretty much all them the entire series. And the Thunderbirds, they played well. They took out the Bullets in 5, and then they basically destroyed San Diego.
Who do you think was the most deserving of the playoffs MVP this season before we actually unveiled it?
Probably Marcus, but I know FBB likes giving playoff MVPs to guards. So wouldn't be surprised if ECW won it, or Knicks.
Yeah, I think I can agree with ECW or Marcus getting it. I think he'll go to ECW.
I think also in the final series, out of the 6 games, Wright was arguably the best player on Miami of 3 of them, but obviously it's a playoffs MVP trophy and not just the finals MVP trophy, so remains to be seen if who pulls it out. Actually, we can do that right here. So what we're gonna do is just press sim day until the box appears here below the final scores. It should be like 1 or 2 clicks. 1. Oh, it is Edward Craven Walker indeed, so congratulations to them on the... So good shouts by both of you guys, actually kinda guessing the correct player there. Well, now that we're on the topic, what do you guys think of the player Edward Craven Walker? Heading into year 7 now, I think, and free agent after the season now. What do you think the future is going to hold for Edward Craven Walker?
He's testing free agency, so I'm not sure if he will return. Well, I actually don't think he can return based on the Vice's salary cap. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. There'll be lots of pretty much all the contending teams will inquire about him to see if they can get his service next year. And whatever team ends up playing for next year he'll definitely help them with a
Right.
big run, I reckon.
Well, I'm not gonna implicate any wrongdoing here, but what do you think about the player, Sid?
I think that ECW has he took his build wise, like his defensive guard. I think that build was really important these days. Like the GMs kind of have to do like their freak PG defensive build if they want like a defensive option. But the fact that he was like a true 3-and-D player with just 95 stealing 90 blocking, I think that was a huge reason of why the Vice have been pretty dominant the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of teams who are looking for that defensive presence, especially in those guard position, will for sure be contacting him.
Indeed, and it is interesting to see on the screen now the final stat line of the series for Craven Walker. 5 of 12 shooting, 7 rebounds, 2 of them offensive rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 8 turnovers, 5 fouls, and -8 in a 5-point victory for 17 points total. And yeah, it's a tricky old thing with the playoff MVP nominations in the engine, because some guards you remember winning the trophy are of course Orlando Viloria the fourth, who has the facilities to play all the way to center, and then Alex Calderon, who was possibly the best player of the teams who won the championship, of course, in general talent, and possibly the best player in the league during some of the seasons. But a player like Craven Walker, I wouldn't have. I would have put in my if I were to, when I asked you guys if I were to put them in order of expectations, I would have put right above Walker. So it's interesting to me that Craven Walker was able to show, I guess, enough defensive talent and just enough versatility in his offensive game to win the trophy. And yeah, I'm glad for him, of course. Yeah,